Imagine dying with nothing but agonizing regrets, completely despised by the one person you swore to protect. But what if death wasn't the bitter end, but a miraculous chance to rewrite history? Jinwoo was known to everyone in the city as the ultimate trash husband. He was a pathetic leech. His wife, the brilliant CEO Yuna, barely looked at him. Her wealthy aristocratic family treated him like a diseased stray dog. He died utterly broken, framed for corporate espionage and thrown off a bridge by rival heir Taesung. Then, he violently opens his eyes. The blinding morning sunlight hits his face. It is exactly 10 years in the past. It is the chaotic morning after his disastrous, loveless wedding night. The frigid air feels terrifyingly real. Yuna looks at him with the familiar cold disdain he remembers so incredibly well. But this time, Jinwoo just smiles. He knows every stock market crash, every booming industry, and every dirty secret of his enemies. He will not be a helpless victim again. The first calculated step to his grand revenge begins immediately. He sneaks out quietly while Yuna leaves for her chaotic corporate office. He visits a rundown, illegal pawnshop deep in the city's dark underbelly. He sells his absolute last possession of value: a vintage watch. With exactly $10,000, he enters the volatile cryptocurrency market of the early decade. He knows the exact second a forgotten digital coin will surge by 10,000%. He waits patiently in the shadows. The green numbers on the glowing screen blur. In less than 48 hours, his 10,000 becomes a staggering $1 million. But this is just basic pocket change. Meanwhile, Yuna is fighting a hopelessly losing battle at her company. Her corrupt uncle is secretly conspiring to sell her shares to Taesung. The mounting pressure is completely crushing her. She returns home exhausted, fully expecting to see her useless husband drinking on the couch. Instead, the sprawling house is utterly spotless. A warm, perfectly cooked meal waits on the dining table. Jinwoo simply nods and retreats silently to his room. Yuna is completely bewildered. Behind his heavily locked bedroom door, Jinwoo is establishing a massive phantom corporation. He names it Aegis Capital. It operates entirely through multiple offshore proxies, completely untraceable to a supposed deadbeat husband. The very next morning, he ruthlessly targets the tech sector. He buys massive controlling shares in a struggling startup that he knows will soon monopolize AI logistics. He leverages everything he owns. It is a terrifying gamble. If he fails now, he loses it all. But his future knowledge is absolute, and within 3 short months, Aegis Capital is worth a cool $50 million. The global financial world frantically whispers about this mysterious new titan. No one suspects the scruffy guy buying cheap groceries in faded sweatpants. Yuna's uncle finally springs his vicious corporate trap. He deliberately cuts off the essential supply chain to Yuna's main manufacturing plants. The company faces immediate, catastrophic bankruptcy. Taesung steps in with a highly predatory smile, offering a massive buyout in exchange for her hand in marriage. He forcefully demands she divorce her trash husband immediately. Yuna fiercely grits her teeth, refusing to bow to his frankly disgusting demands. The tense boardroom erupts into total chaos. Just as the corrupted board aggressively prepares to vote her out, the heavy oak doors violently swing open. A stoic representative from Aegis Capital steps confidently into the room. He drops a terrifyingly thick legal folder onto the polished mahogany table. Aegis Capital has quietly bought out all of the uncle's massive debts. The Phantom Company now officially owns the entire critical supply chain. The representative coldly announces they will exclusively back CEO Yuna. Taesung's arrogant jaw drops. The traitorous uncle turns deathly pale. Yuna is frozen in a state of absolute shock. Who is the brilliant mastermind behind Aegis Capital? Back at home, Jinwoo is casually watering the indoor plants. Yuna bursts eagerly through the door, her beautiful eyes wide with a mix of wild triumph and deep confusion. She breathlessly shares the miraculous news of her powerful anonymous savior. Jinwoo feigns pure ignorance perfectly. He softly congratulates her with a gentle, profoundly reassuring smile. His secret shadow empire is steadily growing at an exponential rate. He mercilessly moves on to commercial real estate. He aggressively buys vast tracts of completely barren land in the desolate southern district. The mainstream media loudly mocks the anonymous buyer as a complete and utter fool. 2 exact weeks later, the government shockingly announces a massive new infrastructure project right on that specific land. The land value absolutely skyrockets overnight. Aegis Capital finally crosses the legendary billion-dollar threshold. Jinwoo is now an apex predator. But the humiliated Taesung is not finished fighting. Publicly embarrassed in the boardroom, he desperately hires private military contractors to severely intimidate Yuna. He brutally crosses the line. Jinwoo's dark eyes turn incredibly ice-cold when he sees the purple bruises on his wife's fragile arm. The lazy trash husband is completely gone. The dormant monster awakens. Using his seemingly limitless offshore funds, Jinwoo mercilessly initiates a hostile, bloody takeover of Taesung's entire conglomerate. He aggressively crashes their inflated stock price using highly coordinated international media leaks. He brutally exposes 3 long decades of illegal corporate embezzlement. Taesung's massive empire begins to tragically crumble like a flimsy house of cards in a brutal hurricane. Desperate and terrified, Taesung frantically tracks down the hidden headquarters of Aegis Capital. He desperately demands an urgent meeting with the legendary chairman to pathetically beg for mercy. He is silently led into a dimly lit, luxurious penthouse office overlooking the sprawling city. A solitary man sits quietly in a high-back leather chair, facing the giant glass window. Taesung instantly drops to his trembling knees. He hysterically offers absolutely anything to save his miserable life. The massive leather chair slowly turns around. Taesung completely stops breathing. It is the despised trash husband. Jinwoo casually stares down at him with cold eyes as dark as the endless abyss. He slowly leans forward. He softly whispers that this is the ultimate fatal price of touching his beloved wife. Ruthless security guards violently drag the screaming, totally broken air out of the skyscraper. The silent revenge is beautifully absolute. Later that glamorous evening, Yuna attends a highly exclusive gala proudly honoring the enigmatic chairman of Aegis. She stands incredibly nervously near the grand, sweeping stage. She desperately wants to deeply thank the incredible man who saved her life and all her precious dreams. The bright spotlight instantly hits the very top of the grand marble staircase. The massive, wealthy crowd quickly falls completely dead silent. A ridiculously handsome man in a flawlessly tailored midnight suit gracefully descends the sweeping steps. Yuna's delicate crystal champagne glass slips directly from her severely trembling fingers. It completely shatters on the pristine marble floor. The powerful man confidently walking toward her is not a mysterious stranger. It is her husband. The lazy, supposedly useless man she thought she intimately knew is actually the supreme god of the global financial world. Jinwoo stops perfectly in front of her. He gently offers his warm hand with that exact same reassuring smile. The entire corrupt city silently bows before them. He was reborn as a useless piece of trash, but he secretly built a ruthless empire just to crown her a queen.